Hello, my dear students. I am Dr. Prajna Mattihalli from Government First Grade College, Dharwad, Karnataka. I have already uploaded many videos about principles and practice of auditing. So, I would like to share with you some more aspects about it. Already we have discussed meaning, definition, objectives of auditing, classification of auditing also. And now let us understand how a company auditor works in the company, how he audits, and how he gets appointed, how he gets retirement, what about his removal, rights, duties, liabilities, etc. Okay, friends, come let us start with the aspect now. Here is the appointment of the auditor. So let me start with the basic things of it and how company appoints the auditor. That too is its first auditor. And first auditor gets appointed in the company as per section 224 subsection 5 tells about the first auditor. Dear students, I hope you know who is the first auditor. The very word says you about the first auditor. He is appointed for the first time. First time means what? When a new company is established, I hope you know that here we are telling about the public company. Here company means public company. So for its formation, it needs 4 steps, that is promotion, incorporation, capital subscription and commencement of the business. Here we are referring with the first auditor means when the company goes through 2 stages, that is after second stage, now it is registered. Now it is incorporated. At this stage, no shares are there because shares comes at the third stage, that is capital subscription. Now there is no question of shares, therefore there are no shareholders. Who are there in the company? Promoters. They have made among them itself some directors, so we have got board of directors. Now these board of directors, they appoint the auditor because they need the service of auditor for capital subscription stage. As you know very well, capital subscription stage of a public company includes many complications, many legal matters are included here. Therefore, they are in need of a good auditor. So they go for the appointment of first auditor. And according to section 224 of Companies Act, first auditor is appointed by board of directors within 1 month of the registration of the company until first annual general meeting, because first annual general meeting, when does it come? When the company is fully ready. When the company is fully ready and after its commencement of the business or after the registration of the company, 1 year, after 1 year, first annual general meeting comes. In that particular first annual general meeting, this first auditor gets retired. His time gets over. You can reappoint him, or you can go with the new auditor, because now the ball is not in the court of board of directors, because already they have issued the shares. Shareholders are there. As you know very well, shareholders are the owners of the company, and they have conducted the annual general meeting. In that particular annual general meeting, they decide whom they should appoint as the auditor. So let me repeat once again. The first auditor of the company works for capital subscription. He is appointed by the board of directors within 1 month of the registration of the company, and just after the registration, just after 1 year, first annual general meeting comes, and in that particular first annual general meeting, about the auditor's appointment, rethink will be undertaken, and the first auditor gets retired. His time gets expired there. Then what about the subsequent auditors? As you know very well, here we are talking about the appointment of subsequent auditor. Means apart from first auditor, each and every auditor is called as subsequent auditor. That is second, third, fourth, all the auditors are called as subsequent auditors. Section 224 subsection 1 says that at each annual general meeting, shareholders appoint. Please remember, first auditor is appointed by board of directors, and thereafterwards all the auditors are appointed by the shareholders, owners of the company. He holds the office up to next annual general meeting. So the auditor has got the office, means he works for only 1 year, that too up to the next annual general meeting. As you know very well, all the companies, means public companies, they have to conduct every year annual general meeting. So in every annual general meeting, they have to think of the auditor. They cannot continue. They have to reappoint him. You can keep an auditor for 30 years. But the thing is, you have to reappoint him in every annual general meeting. It is as good as rebirth or reappointment. Every time you have to reappoint him. That is the rules of the Companies Act. Therefore, ordinarily retiring auditor shall automatically be reappointed at annual general meeting, but you have to have the decision about it. You have to make the resolutions. You have to pass the resolutions for the reappointment. Then how about the appointment by central government? Is it interested? Yes. If an auditor is not appointed by the directors or the shareholders in the annual general meeting, then immediately central government appoints him, because it is the genuine duty of the shareholders to appoint the auditor in annual general meeting. But if they do not do so, then central government has to appoint him. And under section 619, auditor of government company shall be appointed by central government, because it is government company. So central government has to appoint him. If it is a public company, then shareholders are the owners and they do appointment. If it is a government company, automatically ownership lies with the government and government has to appoint him. I hope you know that what is government company. Just to make you to remember, government company is one wherein the ownership, that is more than 51% of the share capital, is held by either the state government or the central government, or partly by state and central governments. That means more than 51%. That means majority of the share capital is owned by the state, that is a government. Therefore, it is called as government company. Since the government is the owner, government appoints the auditor also. And who removes him? Better let us understand about, let us have one clarity that he works for 1 year. In between the year, before his maturity of the term, if he gets removed, that is called as removal. In between the year, if he is removed from his duties, that is called as removal. An auditor may be removed by the company in its general meeting after obtaining prior approval of central government. That is necessary. Section 225 safeguards auditor against unfair removal. The removal should not be unfair, Therefore, it gives him, for his safeguard, it gives him some rights also. That is, special notice of the resolution should be given, and notice to retiring auditor is must. It has to give the notice to the retiring auditor, and he can represent himself. He is having the right to represent himself, how he is fair, or what is his status, what he thinks about it, and how correct he is. He can represent himself. There is one opportunity for him to represent himself. As it is the general meeting, every shareholder has to give the consent for his removal, or majority of the shareholders should give the consent for his removal. So he is having so many rights about it. How about the retirement? When the time comes, when the time gets over, then if he goes off the office, he goes off the responsibility, that is called as retirement. Removal and retirement. So before the time, if he goes off, that is removal. After the completion of the maturity, that is after completion of the time, if he goes off, that is retirement. First auditor, as I have already mentioned, retires at first annual general meeting. Retires means his time is over. Time means the duration of his duty is over. That is called as retirement. And subsequent auditors get retired at next annual general meeting. This, for example, in a 34th annual general meeting, one auditor is appointed. He gets retired by 35th annual general meeting. Isn't it? That is called as retirement. However, auditor can be reappointed in annual general meetings. He can be reappointed for any number of times. So I hope you have understood clearly about the retirement. Now let us understand about the remuneration of the auditor. Remuneration of first auditor is fixed by board of directors. I hope you have the clarity that who appoints him? Board of directors. So who decides about the remuneration? Automatically it is board of directors. In the same way, if auditor is appointed by central government, then remuneration is fixed by central government. Who appoints him? He decides the remuneration. If he is appointed by shareholders, then remuneration is fixed in general meeting, that is by shareholders, isn't it? And how about the rights of auditor? As we know very well, auditor has got many rights. Right of access to books of accounts and vouchers. My dear friends, we know about the responsibilities or duties of the auditor, that every auditor has to verify each and every entry of books of accounts. So for verification, for inspection, he should possess books of accounts. It is his right. He can ask for any books of accounts. He can ask for any vouchers, receipts, because he has to do his work properly. He needs it, so he asks about the books. It is his right. Right to call for information and explanation. Just by seeing into the books of accounts, he may not be in a position to understand. He needs some clarification. He wants to ask some questions about it. So he needs some information or explanations that he can call for. He can call any officer, accountants, anybody for information and explanation. Right to visit branches of the company, because he is the auditor, he is doing the audit of entire company. Automatically, even the accounts of branches come under his purview. He has to look into it. He has to make decisions about the entries. Therefore, naturally, if he wants to visit the branches, it is his right. Right to receive notice and other communication of general meeting, because as you know very well, he has been appointed in one general meeting, and in the coming general meeting his time gets expired. Therefore, he has to receive the notice and other communications about the general meeting. Right to make statements at general meetings. Yes, he has to receive the notice of the general meeting. Then he will attend the general meeting. He need not sit quiet. He has got the right to talk in the general meeting. He can speak about the accounts and its status, and it is his right to make statements. Right to correct any wrong statements. Wrong statements may be made by shareholders or directors or any officers. If it is wrong, he has got the right to correct it. Right to be indemnified. In the matters of company's assets, he has got the right to be indemnified. Right to seek legal and technical advice if he wants any kind of legal advice. If he is in need of technical advice, he can go for it. It is his right. Right to make representation. He can be represented. If he wants to represent himself, he can do so. Right to receive remuneration. As we have already discussed about the remuneration, as we have understood that first auditor is appointed by the board of directors and they decide his remuneration, as well as the subsequent auditors will be appointed by the shareholders and the remuneration is fixed by the shareholders. Here, in each and every case, every auditor has got the right to receive his remuneration. So, if he doesn't receive, he can claim for the same. Right to sign the audit report. Audit report is prepared by the auditor. Whatever may be written there, he means it and he has written it, so he wants to sign it. It is his right. Right of particular lien means, as you know very well, he possesses books of accounts or receipts, vouchers or some assets also. So till his remuneration is paid, he can keep those assets or books or accounts or vouchers, whatever it is, which are belonging to the company. He can keep them till his remuneration is finalized, because he has got them for his work and he has got a right of particular lien. Right to comment on the inadequacy of the accounting system. If he feels that there is some inadequacy in accounting system, he can make comments upon it. right to report to shareholders because is appointed by the shareholders, as you know very well. Up- just apart from first auditor, all the auditors are appointed by the shareholders, and he has to report to them about the status of the company. So, my dear friends, let me end here, and in our next videos, let us discuss about the rights and liabilities of the auditors also. Please give me the feedback for the improvement, and how much you have understood, how much clarity was there in the narrations, and how do you feel about it. Please don't forget to give me the feedback. Let us meet in next videos. Let us discuss some more aspects also, and as I have already mentioned, principles and practice of auditing is much more interesting topic. We need it even in our real life. So just I would like to conclude this video with all the wishes